Hello everyone, hello Kinderlach. Let's talk all about the Oorah auction. But before we do, everyone has to go to www.oorah.org/laptops for a free chance to win an iPad or a laptop, and for a $36 donation or more, you can win both. So Kinderlach, it's very kedai to put in for both. Now Kinderlach, we're going to talk a little bit about Oorah. You know Kinderlach, sometimes it happens that a tati or a mommy doesn't know anything about Yiddishkeit. And they're not even interested in Yiddishkeit. Now that's very unfortunate. But you know Kinderlach, when Oorah puts their children into Chadorim and in Beis Yaakovs, and the parents see how the children have Derech Eretz and Kibbud Avayim, they're keeping the Torah and mitzvahs, eventually it develops an interest by the parents also to keep Yiddishkeit and to keep the Torah and mitzvahs. You know, Kinderlach, it happened right here in Lakewood. There was a boy, let's call him Shmuley. Shmuley was about to become bar mitzvah. And his tati called him aside and he said, Shmuley, now you're becoming bar mitzvah. You have to remember to keep the Torah and mitzvahs. You have to wake up early every day. You have to be maveh sedra. You're not allowed to talk during Chazar Hashatz. You have to be medaktik in all the mitzvahs and all the halachas. You can't play around during davening. You have to sit still and keep quiet. And you have to answer Omen and Chas v'Sholem, not answer an Omen Chatufa. You have to be very careful for all the halachas, because now you're becoming bar mitzvah. And little Shmuley listened to his tati, but he looked at him and said, Tati, one day you're also going to become bar mitzvah. Now this Kinderlach, this is a true story. I'm going to tell you some more stories about how not to behave and what happens when we don't have a Torah education. It happened one time before Yom Kippur. We're in the streets. They were selling kaporos. Now, Kinderlach, we all know what kaporos is. Kaporos are chickens that we slug kaporos. We twirl the chicken around our head, and it goes buck, 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 buck. Those are chickens. And then we shecht it, and this is a Yiddish minhig. One boy, he bought 3 chickens, and he brought them to Cheder. And he wrote on the chickens, he labeled them. He labeled them 1, 2, and 4. He let the chickens run all around, and the poor principal had to look for number 3 a whole day. Now, of course, Kinderlach, there was no number 3. But this is what happens when someone doesn't have a Torah education. It happened another time, where in a certain cheder, there was a coat room, and one of the racks, just like a rack you see right here, one of the racks had a sign on it, and it said, these hangers are only for teachers and principals. And one smart aleck, he scribbled in the sign, he added, the hangers are also for coats. Now Kinderlach, this is not derech eretz, this is not the way we behave. Let's tell one last story to teach us about how not to behave. It happened one time. There was a Talmud. In the afternoon, he was trying to ring the bell of a very fancy schmancy house. But he couldn't reach the bell. It was too high. All of a sudden, his Rebbe passed by. And his Rebbe said, Yankee, let me help you ring the bell. His Rebbe was tall, of course. And his Rebbe held the bell for a long time. He rang the bell, and then he said, Yankee, now we rang the bell. And Yankee looks up at his Rebbe and says, thanks, Rebbe, now you're supposed to hide, so they shouldn't see you. So, Kinderlach, we're beginning to realize how important it is when Oorah takes Yiddish Kinderlach and gives them a Torah education. You know what once happened? There was an older lady who also became frum because of Oorah. And she said later on that before she became frum, She didn't even know anything about Yiddishkeit. She didn't even know what Lashon Hara was. And today, Baruch Hashem, she speaks it perfectly. So, Kinderlach, these are the lessons. And now, Kinderlach, we are going to announce the winner. Winner for number 6. Joe Finkelstein from Memphis, Tennessee. Joel has a choice to win either a laptop or an iPad. Mazel tov, Joe.